Back in 2018, 7.5 million California voters decided gestational pigs, otherwise known as sows, ones that deliver what gets turned into some of what we most like to eat, like bacon, we decided that they needed to live in bigger spaces. By voting Prop 12 into law, they guaranteed that sows, egg-laying hens, and the baby calves that become veal should live their producing lives in crates that let them turn around and stretch their limbs, not the very tight quarters that haven't allowed that for years. We're talking about 24 square feet of space instead of a 2 by 7 foot crate. Debate on the change has sizzled for 5 years as state work on regulations surrounding Prop 12 have dragged, and pork producers took the issue all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court looking to stop it. That effort failed last week as the highest court in the land said Prop 12 could go forward. I'm live now with Wayne Pacelle, the president of Animal Wellness Action and the Center for Humane Economy. Wayne, good morning.
Good morning to you.
When the Supreme Court ruled against the National Pork Producers Council, which brought this issue all the way to them on the interstate commerce issue, what did you think?
Well, it's a great day for California and the will of the people in California. This was a landslide vote in 2018 that really embodied the notion that animals raised for food deserve humane treatment. And the basic notion is that mass immobilization of animals, keeping laying hens in battery cages where they can't even stretch their wings, or preventing breeding sows in the pig industry from even turning around. They're basically in an immobilizing crate that's barely larger than their bodies, that just goes too far. That we have a debate in our society about whether people should eat animals or not eat animals, but we all agree, if we're vegans or we're inveterate meat eaters, that all animals deserve humane treatment. And this was a very, very important ruling for not just farm animals, but for climate change issues and a wide variety of other issues that the states are often leading on. If we just have to dumb things down to the federal level, where some of these big agribusiness interests or energy companies can thwart reform, then we're really going to be in trouble.
The basis of the argument against implementation of Prop 12 was that it violates interstate commerce laws by one state, the state being California, forcing farmers in places like Iowa to increase crate sizes in order to sell pork to the Golden State. Only Congress is supposed to make rules affecting interstate commerce. When you saw that as the basis of the claim, did you think that the animals had a chance?
I sure did. I mean, I knew it was going to be a close call, but essentially what California did is they said, listen, farmers in California have to adhere to these spacing requirements, that the animals have to have a few feet of room to maneuver. And California was not telling Iowa pig farmers or Minnesota egg farmers what to do. But they said, if you want to sell into the California market, you have to adhere to California's animal welfare standards and food safety standards. When you overcrowd animals, you stress them, you create ideal conditions for the spread of disease. That has food safety implications. But also on the animal welfare side, animals, feel. We have anti-cruelty laws in this nation. Why are we omitting this principle from our discussion about proper treatment of animals in agriculture? So 3 conservatives and 2 liberals for the Supreme Court said states have important rights, that the federal government cannot just wipe away state statutes, and that California voters were spot on. And frankly, it's not just California. It's a bunch of other states are going to have their rules protected now as well.
Supporters of the current system, the current crate sizes, say that this measure is going to cause undue cost for producers, costs which are just going to be passed on to consumers for what is for many a less expensive food staple. I'm talking about pork here. And this would have been bad back in 2018 when it was first passed by voters, but that's going to be really bad now in this inflationary environment. And folks like you aren't acknowledging the real needs that are out there in terms of food needing to be affordable for families. What would you say to those folks?
Well, the pig industry trotted out all those arguments in 2018, and by a nearly 2-to-1 margin, Californians rejected it. We don't just look only at price. It's not a moral race to the bottom where you can abuse animals and pollute the environment and produce unsafe foods. We have a multiplicity of values that are built into our agricultural system, and treating the animals decently when they're at the center of the enterprise. They're the ones that make this whole thing run. They're sacrificing for us, yet the least, but these folks say we don't have to give them even an opportunity to move. the least we can do is be humane to animals used for food production. So I think their argument was all wrong. And fortunately, the United States Supreme Court, a conservative United States Supreme Court, sided with Animal Wellness Action and a wide range of other defendants and the state of California in this case.
As you look over all the issues, all the challenges that groups may have against this kind of law, are you concerned about a different kind of legal challenge, making it maybe about Prop 12 all the way to the High Court?
You know, I think we're now settled. We won 11 straight cases in the lower courts and the appellate courts and now the Supreme Court. So this is done for the most part in the courts. Now it's going to move to Congress. The pork industry and others have said they're going to try to get Congress to wipe away California's laws that relate to agriculture and commerce, laws throughout the United States. It would be hundreds of laws that would be put on the chopping blocks if their plans in Congress are fulfilled by the proponents of these efforts. So we're going to play defense in the Congress. We believe that the federal government has a very important role in advancing animal welfare. We also believe the states have a very important role, and the feds cannot trample on states' rights. California has been a leader in animal welfare. This was a foresighted action to say that all animals deserve humane treatment, including animals raised for food.
Wayne Pacelle, thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing your insight. We appreciate you, and we've been following this for 5 years, so we will continue to see what happens, what's brought to Congress. Thank you.
Thank you so much.